Hello everybody, it's Aaron back from Screenstars, and I'm here once again to do another review for Geek Legion of Doom. And today I'm here to review the 2019 war drama, The Great War, a film that is written and directed by Stephen Luke, and it stars primarily Bates Wilder, but it also stars Ron Perlman and Billy Zane, who make an appearance now and again in the film to give the film a little bit more gravitas, I suppose, and a bit more star value maybe. And this is a film that focuses on the First World War, the clue's in the title, and it focuses on a platoon of men who are sent out at the very end of the First World War, and I mean right at the very end, to search for a platoon that is trapped behind enemy lines. And by that I mean this is a platoon of American soldiers that is basically filled with black soldiers. Now this was quite unusual at this time of the military period. However, it is decided that it's of great importance, so Bates Wilder's platoon of men is sent out to search for these soldiers and bring them back alive. Now, if that sounds familiar, well, it does, because this film is in many ways very reminiscent of the film Saving Private Ryan. Very, very similar storyline. In that film, we had Tom Hanks and his platoon that went off to look for Matt Damon to bring him back alive. He was the last surviving member of his family. Very, very similar concept here. This platoon of American soldiers has to go and find these soldiers that have been behind enemy lines, trapped behind enemy lines for some time, and they have to bring them back. It's of great importance. Now, this film is actually quite a good film, much better than I actually anticipated. It's got something quite important to say. It's quite a racially charged film, and it shines a light on the past difficulties black people must have suffered in the military. And it does it actually quite well and quite sensitively, I would suggest. Don't get me wrong, some of the language here is, like I say, it's quite racially charged, and you could imagine at the time how black soldiers were received in the military for the most part. And this film, I think, does a pretty decent job of shining that light on the subject matter. It's actually quite a powerful and poignant film in a lot of ways. It deals with its subject matter pretty well, I think, and it also fleshes out some of the other characters as well. For example, Bates Wilder, who plays the captain of the platoon, is suffering from shell shock. You could argue a bit similar to Tom Hanks in Saving Private Ryan, who had the shakes all the time. If you remember, he had that shakes in that film. Well, this character played by Bates Wilder has it even worse in this. You see, in this film, and you see that rise a couple of times. And he actually gives quite an impactful and impressive central performance here, in the sense of he's very strong. He's got the respect of his platoon, but at the same time he shows this level of vulnerability as well, which we are allowed to see as the film progresses. So I have to say, I have to commend Bates Wilder's performance here. He really, really carries his film and carries it quite impressively. Now, yes, we do have Ron Perlman and we do have Billy Zane that make appearances in this film, but they kind of play their superiors, and they pop in every now and again to talk about the war and how the war is ending very, very shortly, in a matter of hours actually, and they have some interesting discussions back and forth about the impact of the war and all this kind of stuff. Now, they're absolutely fine in the film. You could probably add up their combined efforts into the film in regards to their screen time. It probably doesn't pass 10 minutes maybe when you add it all together, the pair of them. But I understand why they're there, and it does add a little bit more star power to the film, and they both do a very, very good job when they're on screen. So I have to say, it was quite an impressive film. It held it together really well. There's some pretty good action scenes and some pretty good war scenes. There's a scene at the beginning where they have to go over the top, and you see that intensity and the fear that must have generated for. You can imagine these soldiers that had to go over the top and they were just being mown down. So you get one of them scenes. There's a scene at the end where they have to hold on to this hotly contested hill, trying to run down the clock because the war is going to end at 11 a.m. And if they hold this hill, it will mean that they will have held on to this land, and the Germans won't take it, and all this kind of stuff. And it was an important hill for them to hold, and that again was really, really well done. You got this feeling that they were really up against it and they're really outnumbered, and you know the chances of survival are very, very slim. So it got you a bit into the film and a bit tense and a bit excited about all that. And it did its job pretty well. I'm not going to lie. I was actually quite entertained throughout this film. Yes, to some degree, you could argue it's quite predictable. This film, you get the emotional deaths here and there to up the emotional impact of the film, and generally the beats of the film is very, very similar to Saving Private Ryan. So there is a level of predictability here, but it doesn't make it any less watchable in my opinion. So I was suitably impressed with this. I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. I think certainly if you are fans of a fairly decently well made war film here, I don't think you're going to be disappointed. Yeah, it's reasonably low budget, but every penny's on the screen, and there's some impressive explosions and battles here and there. And I think for the most part the cast do a really, really good job of delivering the message of this story. So yes, I do recommend it. I do recommend you trying it out. Thanks for watching, everybody, and of course we'll see you for more reviews on Geek Legion of Doom.